Welcome, everyone. We're going to ask that you get to your seats. We're going to start momentarily. We're asking everybody in attendance to please find your seats. If you can silence your cell phones, the program's about to begin. Thank you so much.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Adam Giardino, one of the broadcasters for UConn Athletics. If you missed the memo earlier, please silence your cell phones for today's proceedings, please. And as we begin, we'd like to say a few thank yous to the assembled media over here, the many dignitaries in attendance, including members of university leadership, members of the UConn Board of Trustees, state and local leadership, and the community members that came out here to support the new era of UConn football. We will soon hear from UConn President Dr. Radenka Maric. We will hear from UConn's Chairman of the Board of Trustees, Dan Toscano. We will hear from UConn Athletic Director David Benedict, and of course, Coach Jason Candle. After Coach Candle's remarks, there will be a press conference-style Q&A for media in attendance, plus media breakout sessions down the hall when we conclude for today's proceedings. But before handing this over to President Maric, a little bit on Coach Candle. He is Toledo's all-time winningest coach, which includes a pair of MAC championships and a pair of MAC Coach of the Year awards. Coach Candle led Toledo to bowl appearances in 8 of 10 seasons and never finished a season with the Rockets below 500. He is now the 33rd head coach in UConn program history with a 6-year contract that keeps him with the Huskies through 2031. Now, without further ado, we welcome UConn University President Dr. Radenka Maric to the stage.
Avery promised me to help me, but she now changed her mind, so next time, Avery. So on behalf of all UConn Nation, we are thrilled to welcome Coach Candle and his family to our university, and we are proud that a coach of his caliber with the record of his successes will be leading our football program. UConn football has momentum, and Coach Candle will build on that momentum in the years ahead. There is true and unmistakable excitement about our football. As you can see, all people who are welcoming you from leadership, donors, board of trustee, alumni, and everybody who loves Connecticut and who loves UConn. So you will find support everywhere. I heard from Nicole that some of her best friends are also Huskies, so that's great. As president, it's important to add that we strive for success in every of our athletic programs. So as a university, we know that success for our program and our student athletes is not just about wins and losses, but it's about the academic success and the growth and development as leaders and citizens. And our coaches play an incredibly important role in that effort. To that end, I was pleased to learn that Coach Candle's program at Toledo surpassed 3.0 grade point average in 9 seasons, and under your leadership, and in last 2 years, its success rate, graduation rate of over 94%. So I really want that round of applause for this amazing success. So that demonstrates a record of excellence, both on and off the field, and we look forward to that same kind of success at UConn. Thank you. Welcome once again, Coach Candle and your family. Congratulations to David Benedict and his team for making today happen. And go Huskies! Thank you.
Thank you, President. Next up is a member of the UConn class of 1987, a chairman of the Board of Trustees, and an incredible supporter of UConn athletics, Dan Toscano.
Okay, David said no more than 20 minutes, right? Good morning, everybody. Thank you for coming. Get this out of the way. There's one question that was in my mind going through this. How do you hire a head football coach? It's a simple question, but the answer is very complicated, I can assure you. I'll leave it to our incredible athletic director maybe to answer that question. My son Max reminds me all the time that my relationship with football is as a fan, not an expert. But I will observe that the answer to this question goes well beyond wins and losses. It incorporates leadership, culture, and shared values. And notwithstanding Max's comments, I actually do think I have a little bit of experience in those areas. And you all know, everyone who came out today, that UConn is a very unique place. It has its own ecosystem. It has its own aspirations. We aim high, higher than the world probably expects, and we win. Yes, we win, but we also win the right way. Students first is our North Star in everything we do. If you dig into Jason's background, you will see that he thinks and acts exactly the way we do. So I'm thrilled to be here today to introduce you to the next great UConn coach, Jason Candle. When you assess his success as a coach, be sure to pay attention to his leadership of young people and the culture that he created throughout his career. He shares our values. What is important to us is important to him. We know what works at the University of Connecticut, which has led to unprecedented success. I am certain that he is exactly the right person to lead our football program as we continue our descent. To Jason, Nicole, and these beautiful children, welcome to UConn Nation. And to Dave Benedict, the leader of our athletics enterprise, a huge thank you for identifying Jason and then getting this deal done. The only question I have, Jason, which maybe you can answer later, I don't know if that picture's up, but what the hell was going on in that picture? Because you look pretty annoyed. So maybe we can come back to that later. Maybe it was that sideline warning. Anyway, thank you all for coming. I look forward to hearing from our coach, and I will turn it over back to you, Adam. Thank you all.
Next up, the man that was aforementioned, the head of the UConn Athletic Department, Athletic Director David Benedict, in his 10th year with the Huskies.
How are we doing, UConn Nation? Yeah. They say it's always good to be a Husky. I think we got some more Huskies here. I hear we like dogs. We like dogs. That's a good start, right? All right, well, look, today is the beginning of a new chapter in our story. It's a new chapter for UConn football. We've had unbelievable momentum that's been built over the last 4 years, and we needed to find the next leader that was going to harness that momentum and take us to the next level, and we certainly have found that in Coach Candle. We're also happy to have the family with us. Nicole joined Jason late last week to come visit. We got to spend, I locked him in my car for about 10 hours, and we covered as much territory in Connecticut as we possibly could, and I didn't hide from anything. We went all over, and we showed him all parts, because obviously it's important that if someone's going to make this kind of decision, we want them to want to be here in Connecticut for everything we represent, not just what we think people want to see. So, Nicole, Avery, Cameron, and Colton, welcome. You guys ready? Go Huskies. All right, quickly, I've got a bunch of people to thank because none of this can happen. I appreciate Dan and President Merrick's comments, but none of this happens without the support of a lot of different people, all of you in particular that are here. But Governor Ned Lamont, he continues to support us. He appreciates the value and the impact that the UConn Athletics franchise has on the entire state. And obviously, when UConn wins, the entire state wins. So we appreciate his continued support. Obviously, the president and Dan and all of the trustees. We've got some additional trustees here in the room. So thank you so much for your continued support and your investment in our student athletes and our athletic programs. Coach Oriema, we were we were putting out the red carpet, and so who better to bring in than Coach Oriema, the ultimate closer. So his recruiting classes are pretty good. So I thought, hey, we're bringing Coach in, and we're going to see if this can help in a search for the next coach. And obviously Jason and Nicole are here, so I think dinner went pretty well. Mike Burton, I don't know if Mike Burton's here, but he's a former player of ours. And Mike Burton, since the onset of NIL in this new environment, has been the tip of the spear. And we couldn't be more appreciative of his passion for this program, his desire to jump in and help us with anything we possibly need. Doug and Sheila Elliott, both UConn alums, they are most generous of both their time and their treasure. They certainly played a role in welcoming both Jason and Nicole, and then certainly my wife Lisa, who I've been invisible for like the last 2 weeks. So hopefully I'll get to see you soon. And then my athletics executive team, certainly appreciate everyone's help. Your feedback along the way, and everything that you do to support me. And then finally, we've got a staff that's back at the Burton football campus or complex on campus, working through what's a very difficult transition. This is a crazy environment that we're all trying to figure out, and I appreciate Coach Gordy Samus and the rest of that staff as they continue to lead this program towards a bowl later this month. And then Parker, executive search, Daniel Parker. This was absolutely the craziest college coaching cycle that I can remember in my tenure. So I've been doing this for about 30 years now. I don't ever remember the kind of chaos that was going on. So having a partner like Daniel in this certainly helped us along the way and made us really efficient. So when we started the search, we set out to find an individual that embodies what we have come to admire from all of our head coaches that we have here at UConn. High character, integrity, loyalty, leadership, but not just leadership, but leadership that others will follow. There's a difference. You can lead, but you want people to want to follow you. That's what we found. We need fierce competitors. Everybody knows we've got fierce competitors here. We want a winner because we expect to win. He certainly demonstrated that over a long period of time. And then finally, we wanted to find someone that cares deeply about the transformative opportunities that we provide our student athletes on our campus when they come to us at UConn. So Jason was at the top of my list from the outset. And some of you may have read that certainly, I tried to make that clear when I went to Central Michigan to watch their final regular season game. I'm not sure what I expected to learn when I went there, but what I saw was everything that I expected. A well-organized sideline, coaches, student athletes competing, a physical team, a team that's capable of scoring and shutting people down, and that's exactly what I saw. I quickly learned after having some conversations that we were aligned in our thinking. We have the same type of goals that we will have for our football program moving forward. So with both high expectations and a belief that this football program can continue to be a great source of pride to our state, we were very fortunate that Coach Candle agreed to be our next head football coach. So Coach, come on up.
Thank you for all those kind words from everybody. Obviously, this is a humbling moment for me because I'm really honored to be your next head football coach here. I think this is a tremendous opportunity, a place that has so much to, has accomplished so much in the last couple of years, but to a certain extent to have the opportunity to maybe wake up the echoes of the past too, and maybe what this looks like and take this into a different era of college football. I got a couple thank yous real quick too as well. Obviously, President Merrick, in the 5 minutes I've been here, I mean, you've opened up my eyes to the possibilities of what alignment and partnership would look like. Anybody that can capture that 4-year-old's attention, you deserve a Medal of Honor. So I appreciate you for that. Dan, the Board of Trustees, and all the help in the recruiting process, and really just from afar, the ability that you've had or the willingness and the ability to impact, your program and try to take this into the new age of college football. It's been fun to watch from afar, and I'm looking forward to being a part of that. David Benedict and his wife Lisa for opening their doors to my family, in the recruiting process to come see this fantastic place. I knew there was a reason before walking out into the 27-degree weather in Mount Pleasant, Michigan, why I didn't have a hat and some gloves to wear to the game. I knew I wanted to show my toughness, but I didn't know that was ultimately going to be a selling point to be the head football coach of the UConn Huskies. But I thank you for being really authentic and genuine in your process. That goes a long way with me and my family. And you talk about alignment, and it speaks volumes, and what you've been able to accomplish here is incredible. And I'm looking forward to locking arms with you. You have a lot of great coaches here, and Dan, they mentioned Gino and Dan being able to be part of the recruiting process and reaching out and helping me. And I think the success of those men and what they've been able to accomplish is not only a model for your university, but it's a pillar of what success looks like across college athletics. And it's not often you get a chance to go to work at a place where you get stimulated and you get motivated by the success of others around you. And look, we've been a part of a lot of championship teams where I've been able to be the coach, and I played at Mount Union College where we won 54 games in a row, and for some reason we figured out how to lose one, and then we ran 55 in a row back after that. That's the cloth that I'm cut from, and I want to surround myself with winners, and I think I found a perfect place to do that. So I'm really excited to be a part of that. I think special thanks to my wife, Nicole. A rock star, a great teammate. I think along this journey 11 years ago, what are you signing up for? My gosh, she had no idea. But here we are. I got beautiful children. We got a great family, and man, oh man, if Dad was only as cool as the Husky mascot, we'd be doing some good things. But we're excited to ingrain ourselves in the community. Looking forward to seeing which stores and seeing what the state of Connecticut is all about, and this is going to be a great thing. I'd like to thank Coach Mora, and the coaches that are back working to get this team prepared for a bowl game. Oftentimes you get a chance to take over these opportunities, and a lot of places there's coaches doing the same thing I'm doing today, and the program that they're walking into is not very good. And this is not the case here. The team has done wonders in the last 24 months. And now it's the challenge of how you can take that and take it to the next step, and something I'm looking forward to, and putting a staff together that can be able to highlight and enhance what those men have been able to do. Those players have worked tirelessly and really done a great job to put themselves in an opportunity to go play a bowl game here against a great opponent and win that game. And 10 wins is a special thing. Not too many teams get to do that, and I'm looking forward to watching that journey for them. Lastly, I'd like to thank the University of Toledo. I've been through, multiple presidents, multiple athletic directors, and a ton of great people along the way. And sometimes you go on the dance floor and you try to really pay attention to each step that you make, and you're not trying to go to a direct place. You're just trying to enjoy the step and enjoy the process. And man, oh man, I've enjoyed every step of that and every step of the way. We've been able to create a great culture, some tremendous leaders, some tremendous players that have went on and done great things in the National Football League. And ultimately, people that have went on to do great things in life. And I think that it's fair to judge coaches, not today, yes, quite yet, but it's fair to judge coaches based on wins and losses, but I don't think it's fair to judge kids off wins and losses. I think we're ultimately going to be defined as young men and players of what we become 20 years down the road, what an impact to society we can make, what a tremendous husband we can be, what a tremendous father we can be. And that's what we're going to build. That's what we were able to build at Toledo, and that's what we're going to continue to build here at UConn. The AD that hired me, Mike O'Brien, told me right from the jump, right when I got hired, 10 years ago at Toledo, that, man, Jay, you're following a really good coach, but I really believe that you can go on and take, this thing to another level, and I feel the same way about that situation as I do now. So this is challenging. It's exciting. I'm looking forward to it. I'm ultimately was, really impressed when I got the call to be, just the interest, from your university to have a conversation with me, and then getting to know David and the other people throughout the process here, this became a no-brainer. The alignment, I keep coming back to the alignment and the stability of what that looks like from the top down, and how a football coach or any coach can really parlay that success into success on the field. We're going to put a lot of effort into 353 days out of the year that there's not a football game. I truly believe in holistically building the young man. These are people's sons. These are people's most prized possessions that they turn them over to you. And in 4 to 5 years, they should understand, when they walk across that stage and they grab, the president's hand and shake their hand getting a meaningful degree, that this was the coolest experience of their life. So I feel a tremendous amount of responsibility in that, as we sit in the homes of young people and recruit them to this fine university. So we're going to do a really good job of those, like I said, 353 days out of the year. We're going to put a lot of energy in that and continue to build really good people. And then those 12 days, that are 6 or 7 that we're able to be out here in this great stadium, you're going to be proud of the product that we put on the field out there. For me, I'm really looking forward to just kind of hitting the ground running here, trying to get started, getting to know the people, getting to know the players, getting to know all of you, trying to find the lay of the land, and trying to make not to make any rash decisions on what it looks like from a staffing standpoint, or, in today's world, a player standpoint. So I'm looking forward to getting started, getting my feet on the ground and getting going, and trying to make the best decisions so we can have a great season next year, and build a program that's built to last. And what that looks like sometimes in today's college athletics, sometimes that's more of an art than a science. But our staff will work really tirelessly to do that, and work really hard to make you proud, and excited to get started. So finally, I just say that we're grateful for this opportunity. Success comes in multiple different ways. We need everybody to lock arms and to buy in. At the city level to the state level to alumni, former Huskies, future Huskies. Everybody that's ever touched our program, or anybody that's going to be bringing, that we're going to bring into this thing. It's a proud day to be a Husky. I'm super excited to be your football coach. And like I said, I can't wait to get this thing kicked off. So that being said, go Huskies.
Over here, Coach. Thank you. Joe Zone, Channel 3, the CBS station in Connecticut. When you and your wife were going over the reasons why we should take the job, maybe why you shouldn't take the job, what was the one thing that you said, we have to take this job?
The people. I think it always comes back to the people. I think it's always, look, winning's hard, recruiting's hard, retention has become incredibly difficult. If you don't have great people around you and you don't have the ability to have authentic relationships, this is a relationship-based business. It always has been. It always will be. It drives me crazy when I hear that, kids are different, kids have changed. I don't believe that. I think that sometimes the people that are traditionalists or the adults, sometimes they've changed maybe a little bit. And I think at the end of the day, kids want structure. They want support. They want a vision. They want to be able to stay connected to that vision. And if you don't have great people around you as the coach, you have no chance. So I think I would always go back to the people. And there's great facilities here. There's great things. Campus is awesome. Campus is great. There's so many things but it's not about bricks and mortar. It's about relationships, and it's about the people.
Coach Joe Ruda with the Hartford Current. Just curious, what was it during this process that you maybe saw or heard that convinced you about the potential for this program?
Yeah, I think I'd take it back to, you look for these opportunities. You have different positions or different job opportunities that may pop up, and it's not often that you get an opportunity to be at one that had a winning season, that has the foundation to grow. And I think you always ask yourself, can you make an impact, and can you enhance it, and can you make it better? And I think if the starting point is farther down the line, it makes for an easier transition. This is never going to be easy. Let's not get it confused. But I think a good foundation, what Coach Moore and his staff have been able to do to this point in time, the players in that locker room, and then obviously the alignment from the administration and how they see this thing going, I think it really aligned with how I see it and what our goals would be.
Welcome, Coach. Roger Cleveland from Hearst Media, Connecticut. I'm just wondering, you're thrown into it at a time when the sport is really kind of has a different atmosphere. What are your priorities for the next 3 weeks to kind of get a foundation under you?
Yeah, great question. I think college athletics, sometimes it's rocky waters right now. I mean, the ship is moving all over the sea, and you have to be able to grab the wheel and stabilize and steer it the right way. I think things that are, you have to decide as the coach what is a little bit of a burning match, so to speak on the floor versus a burning home, and put energy in the right places, because there's really not enough hours in the day to pay attention and move, and chase the wind, so to speak. So, obviously we've got to hit the ground running here of hiring a coaching staff. We've got to be able to get some relationship formed with the current players. We've got to be able to be ready to roll when the transfer portal opens up in January, and get moving as it pertains to building next year's team. Because, in the last 10 years, my tenure being the head coach, I've seen this thing change on how rosters are built and how they're constructed, almost every year. So you got to be able to adapt. You got to be able to overcome maybe the challenges, and I think that's, what's staring us right in the face right now.
Jason Damamori from the Hartford Current. Do you construct rosters more with the portal or more with traditional high school recruiting? It seems like you do more of a balance maybe than we've seen here.
Yeah, I think I'd take the same approach I would be to hiring a staff. You have to fit the institution. You have to understand the climate of the current environment that you're walking into. I was at a place for 10 straight years, and we were able to do an unbelievable job, and as good a job as anybody in the country in retaining our athletes. We've had 11 draft picks there since I've been the head coach, and we'll probably have 1 or 2 more this year. Our guys don't leave. When you have that luxury and you're able to retain them that way, it's really easy to continue to cycle in high school player after high school player and really put, raw energy into development. We can't get that confused. It's still about development. It's still about providing a plan for a young person to stay connected to and allowing them to, really feel that if they do what they need to do, they can be the best version of themselves right here at UConn. So I'd hate to sit here and not tell you the truth. The truth is these rosters turn over year in and year out, and we're into a new world that none of us are really totally familiar with. But the toothpaste is not going back in the tube. This is where we're at, and we're going at rapid speed. We have to be able to put a team on the field next year that's highly competitive, yet not sacrifice what growth and development looks like for a 4 or 5 year run of what this looks like for these student athletes.
Coach Eric Dobratz with the ABC station in New Haven. How important is it to you to build relationships with the high school coaches in this state and to keep the local talent here in Connecticut?
It's the lifeblood of your program. This thing has to be built inside out. It can't be built outside in. I would go back to, I'd start right if I was the head coach at Toledo still and you asked me the same question, I'd say we'd start in Lucas County. We'd start with the great high school coaches right there in our city. We have a great opportunity to do that, and then from there you branch out. You get a 4 or 5 hour radius of campus, which you really try to, you try to hammer home, and I think that goes a long way. That puts, creates a lot of buzz locally about your team. It puts people in the stands to watch their favorite high school player from, their local cities. But if you can't find them, it's still my job to put the best product on the field on Saturday. Then from there, you got to get on an airplane and go find them. But ultimately, if you can get in a car and drive 5 minutes down the road and find a great player rather than flying to Los Angeles to do it, I'd rather do that. But we got to do what's best for the program. We want to bring in the high school coaches. We want to really support the state. I think there's underrated talent here. I think there's untapped potential. I think building relationships with high school coaches is a critical piece to how you build a program. And we want to support them in anything that they do and any adventure that we could help, learn from a professional development. We'll do lots of clinics. We're going to do lots of camps. We're going to really involve the youth in our community, and we're going to truly build community. And without having those great relationships, I don't think you have an opportunity to do that. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
And with that, we put a wrap on today's program. Big thanks to Coach, his family, everyone who was up here speaking. Thanks to everybody in attendance. And also, before we head out of here, thank you to the Spirit Squad, the band. It is finals week, so all the students that you see here floating around, they took zeros today on their final exams. So, President, if you could work something out for all the students, that would be a big help. But no, one more time, big thank you, Coach. Welcome to UConn.